everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Radiorama, where the name partially implies that I work on radios. But today, this ain't no radio, this is a record player. It's a Sears Silvertone dual speaker high fidelity record player. And it's very snazzy looking. There is something unfortunate about it, which is it looks like they used a thin plastic mesh with holes perforated in it for the front, which probably looked great when it was new, but it's like, it's brittle. It's just coming off of here in my hands. So I'll need to figure out a way how to recover that, and I'm not sure how that's going to be possible because it's like wrapped with this pleather or whatever it is. It won't turn on either. I'm not sure if that's because there's a switch that is stuck. That doesn't seem to be. Plus it's loose. I don't know. So I can't even test it. So I'm going to have to take the record player out, see what's going on with that switch to see if it's still plugged in. Because the person that owned this, Kyle, he dropped this off when he moved across country, and there's some projects that he'd worked on that were partially started. So it could be he just unplugged some stuff in here. We'll find out. It took me a while to take this thing apart. What you have to do is take this panel off and this panel out, so you get your hands through this hole so you can reach underneath and flip this guy upright, and then you can pull it out. So first thing I noticed was that the motor is seized on it. It needs to be lubricated. I mean, I can move it, but I have to press on it pretty hard. This switch was stuck. So I sprayed it with a little WD-40 and loosened it up, and now it will turn on. But here is the amp. Not much going on, but it hums. Got a loud hum out of the speakers, and I'm not going to plug it back in again because I might, I could damage it. So I have to figure out how this comes off. I think these pots are what's holding the amp on. And then when I get it off, there's something I did not like seeing that I need to take care of before I start working on it. Alright, here's what I don't like seeing. You see that fuzzy stuff? That's cadmium corrosion. And you do not want to get it airborne. It's not good for you. So I get something wet and I just wipe it off. You don't want to blow it off or anything like that. Alright, so got all that cadmium cleaned off of there. And now what we need to do is replace this capacitor. I can't read all the values on it because it's covered up by these other two capacitors. First one says 80 microfarads, but it doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the side of the capacitor and then where it catches up with the PC board. And that way I can realign it after I take it out and compare what shape is what. This is a early PC board. You can see there's hardly any structural support for the board. There's just like this flimsy. I guess the idea they thought was we can make a C bracket, but still the back is not supported. So I'll need to get a solder sucker, which, by the way, I got a new one, which will work better, and pull this guy out, and we can see what the values are. Well, that took some doing. There was quite a bit of leads on this thing that were soldered into that board. So it took a little bit of doing to undo all of that. What I've done is used a Sharpie marker to indicate the positives, and then the line coming off to the left here, that's my high value. You can see we have square, nothing, triangle. And that corresponds to the values up here. See, we have square, triangle, unmarked. And the one I was really concerned about was which one is the square, 80 microfarad one. So I took a Sharpie and did that, and I plugged it in here and shone a flashlight down to see where that was, and then I marked it. So yeah, these PC boards can be a little tricky. Some of the later ones would actually have, in fact, modern circuit boards, when you look at them, they have markings indicating what is what. So you don't have to like look at the top and flip it over, look at the top again, you know. You have to, this is why it's challenging. Alright, so I've got my new capacitors installed. I did have to run a jumper from this one negative, because that was essentially where I needed to get, like, compensate for the loss of the canister that was spreading across all those leads as the negative. So now that we have those replaced, I'm going to fire it up again and see if we have no longer any hum. And maybe I'll pick up something on the pickup. Alright, so I've fired it up, and the good news is that it's no longer humming. Whoa. We have noise. Let me make this less haphazard. This is an awkward thing to work on. Jesus. Now what I want to do is probably replace the rest of these capacitors, because I've seen these ceramic guys before, and they're just paper inside of clever, I don't know what they are, plastic or ceramic sleeves. And these plastic guys here, those are also capacitors, and they're probably paper as well, so they should all be replaced. Alright, I might have to admit something here, which is this thing was in such bad shape that I kind of set it aside for about 2 weeks, and was not sure if I was actually going to complete it. I thought, well, this thing is in such, you know, it's not working at all, and you know, the front is messed up on it. I had some issues with the electronics where it was buzzing really loudly. The cartridge was messed up in it. And I couldn't remember if I'd actually filmed anything about this, and I had to look back on my phone. But here's what's happened. The cartridge was no good, so I found a replacement. It's a Sonotone cartridge. I know you can't see that, sorry. The electronics has been completely overhauled. We have all new capacitors. And I was able to clean up the mechanism and get it to working again. It seems to work pretty well. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Probably not. There we go. Now, I'll go ahead and press on and reject. And the arm should come up. Should be in the operative word. Alright, there it goes. It's a little cold in my garage this morning. Again, I just got this working now, so probably need to lubricate it a little bit more. And it's got 2 halfway decent sized speakers in there, so it's not horribly sounding. It actually sounds pretty good. And then to turn it off, you know, once you run out of a stack of records, it's going to detect that there's nothing there. And it should shut itself off. So the idea is you could put like 10, 15 LPs on here, let it go all evening long, and then when it's done, it'll turn itself off so you don't forget about it. There's a long way to go on this thing. There's a lot of cosmetic issues, which I'm going to get to. Mainly it's this front end here. That plastic stuff is all busted up, so I have to find some sort of fabric or something. It's a problem because there's a lot of things here that I'm probably going to damage. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the speaker out here and remove this and not remove that tape. If I try to peel that off, it'll just make a wreckage of the rest of the trim. Okay, so now it's time to work on the difficult cosmetic stuff. First thing I did is I took the badges off. And so what I have to do is find some fabric or some material. This is the hard part. What I was hoping was that this panel would be easy to remove and I could just wrap it. But it's glued in there. Like, to get this out would probably mean destroying, like, you know, causing a lot of damage to this. I mean, what I might try, you know, the thing too is, like, even if I were to get it out, like, this faux pleather shit is, like, also wrapped around it, so it would damage that too. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out, because we have, like, rounded edges. If it's imperfect, people are going to know right away. So what I think I might do, I'm thinking here out loud, if I got a piece of paper or something and then, like, kind of rubbed it over this entire shape, maybe it'd make an imprint that I could trace. I don't know. I'm not good at this kind of stuff. Maybe I should get my wife over here to do it. Actually, you know what would probably really work? If I could find a clear piece of plastic that was big enough that I could trace it. Let me think about that. Okay, so this is my wife's idea. I'm going to get a piece of cardboard here and trace the outer perimeter. And then we'll measure in, subtract the width of the plywood on the edge, and then go from there. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here, so bear with me. All right, let's see how this works. I got to cut the inner shape out of here. I got a brand new X-Acto blade, and then I'm going to see if it'll fit. And if it does, then I will trace it out on fabric. All right, we got our pattern, and it is just barely, I think it's fine, because once you cut the cloth, it's going to have a little more give to it. So, and I can trim the cloth with some fine scissors if I, you know, I can adjust it a little bit. So I think this will work out good for our cloth. All right, what I did is I got out this piece of fabric and I ironed it down flat. It's got a little bit of a crease there. I might have to go, what I've been doing, this is plastic, so you can't go over it directly with an iron. So I get a damp cloth and put over the top of that and then iron over the top of it, and the steam kind of like gets the fibers to lay flat. But I need a little bit, because I can see it through this camera, there's still like that crease there and there, so I got a little bit more to do, but it's almost flat. Well, that worked out pretty well. We have new fabric installed on this side. That was seriously the most egregious cosmetic defect with this thing. Now, I need to let this dry, and then I'm going to, from the inside, use my soldering iron to burn the holes for the medallion, because that's going to make it look a lot less plain. You know, it does have a lot of pizzazz, and so those little details like that are kind of important. All right, it's all back together again. Here is, this is a big record player. It's hard to get all of it in one picture, but anyway, this is the whole perspective front. This is the side with the new, well, the old badge stuck on new fabric. And I cleaned it up with some simple green and some warm water so it looks more presentable. And let's see about firing it up. Hopefully it won't make a fool out of me. And it's not rejecting. Why are you not rejecting? Fuck. Alright, well, took some doing, but I was able to get this back together again. Here is the new grill cloth with the badge reattached. I went over the whole case with simple green, so it's much cleaner looking. It was kind of grubby before, inside and out. Got the panels back in, got the knobs back on, and it works pretty nice, pretty well actually.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. With the playing of their theme, the Grosvenor Hotel takes great pride in presenting Tito Puente and his world-famous orchestra.
Anyway, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Total basket case. Probably almost left for dead. But it's pretty snazzy looking. I think it'll make someone happy. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Until the next time something comes across my workbench, I'll see you guys next time.